You've probably wondered what's really going on inside tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney. And look, it can feel like total magic, right? But it's not. It turns out most of the modern AI we use is built from the same set of core ideas. The best way to think about it is like a toolkit. And today, we're going to open up that kit and take a look at the 9 essential tools that are literally building our future.
All right, let's crack this thing open. Because once you understand these core components, you'll be able to look at almost any AI system out there and have a really solid idea of what's happening under the hood. We're going to pull back the curtain and see the real machinery whirring away inside. So, here's our game plan. We've broken down these 9 concepts into 4 main sections of our toolkit. First up, the language engine, how AI actually reads and writes. Then, the world connector, which is how it plugs into real-time info. After that, the refinement process, how we train and tame these things. And finally, the really cool part, the creative spark, or how AI generates brand new stuff.
Okay, let's start with the absolute bedrock of all of this, the language engine. This is all about the fundamentals of how an AI model takes our words, makes sense of them, and then talks back to us.
So before an AI can even think about your question, it has to read it. But here's the catch. It can't read words like you and I do. It only understands numbers. Tokenization is that crucial first step. It's like a translator, breaking down our messy human sentences into smaller, meaningful chunks called tokens, and then turning those tokens into numbers the AI can actually work with.
So, how does that actually work? Well, one of the most popular ways is a technique called byte-pair encoding. You can think of it like it's building a custom dictionary on the fly. It scans the text, finds the most common pairs of letters, and merges them. It keeps doing this, which is why common word fragments like ing or tation become their own tokens. So instead of seeing walking as one big, weird word, the AI sees 2 smaller, more meaningful pieces, walk and ing. It's just a much smarter way to understand language.
Okay, so the AI gets our request. Now, how does it write back? You might think it figures out the whole sentence at once, but no. It's more like it's playing a game of what comes next. It predicts the most likely next word or token, then the next one, and the next one, building the sentence piece by piece, one token at a time. This is called decoding.
But here's where it gets interesting. There's not just one way to pick that next word. You've got options. On one side, you've got greedy decoding. It's the straight-A student, always picking the single most obvious, most probable word. Super fast, great for facts, but kind of boring. On the other side, you have top-P sampling. This one's the creative artist. It looks at a small group of good options and then adds a little controlled randomness to its choice. This is the secret sauce that lets an AI write a poem instead of just a dry summary.
All right, let's move on to the next trait in our toolkit. You see, a language model by itself is kind of like a brain in a jar. It's brilliant, but it's totally disconnected from the real world. It only knows what it was trained on. These next tools are all about giving it a lifeline to what's happening right now.
So if the language model is the brain, then an AI agent, well, that gives it arms and legs. An agent is basically a system that puts the AI in a loop and gives it its own toolbox, things like a web browser, a calculator, you name it. This is what lets it do things in the digital world, not just talk about things.
And this is the loop that makes it all happen. It's a constant cycle. First, it thinks, okay, what's my next move? Then it acts, using one of its tools, like searching the web. Then it observes the result. Aha, here's what I found. And based on that new info, it plans the next step. It just keeps going. Plan, act, observe. Plan, act, observe, until the job is done.
Okay, this next one, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, tackles one of the single biggest headaches with AI, the fact that they can just make things up. We call them hallucinations. A normal model is stuck with whatever it was trained on, which can be months out of date. RAG changes the game. It connects the AI to a fresh, up-to-date knowledge base. So when you ask a question, it doesn't just guess, it first goes and retrieves the actual facts from your documents. And then it uses those facts to build its answer. It forces the AI to show its work and stay grounded in reality.
Okay, so now we have this powerful tool that can talk and even access the internet. But it's still a bit of a wild beast, right? This next section is all about the refinement process, the sculpting tools we use to tame that beast and shape it into something that's actually helpful, safe, and specialized for what we need.
This is probably the tool in the kit you're most familiar with. Maybe without even realizing it, prompt engineering. It's super simple, really. Vague instructions get you vague results. It's the art and science of figuring out the perfect way to ask your question to get the exact answer you want, all without ever touching the AI's code.
Two really powerful techniques here are few-shot prompting and chain of thought. Few-shot is basically just showing, not telling. You give the AI a couple of examples of what you want, and it just gets the pattern and follows along. Then there's chain of thought, which is honestly kind of amazing. You literally just add the phrase, "think step by step" to your prompt, and that simple instruction dramatically boosts its ability to handle complex stuff like logic puzzles or math problems. It's like you're coaching it to slow down and reason it out. Now this next concept, this was the absolute game changer for ChatGPT. It's called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. This is how you go from an AI that's just correct to one that's actually helpful and safe. It's a massive feedback system where you literally reward the AI for giving answers that real humans find useful and prefer.
So how's it work? It's like this three-step dance. First, the main AI spits out a few different possible answers. Then, a second AI, called a reward model, which has been trained on tons of data from humans picking their favorite responses, scores each of those answers. Finally, the main AI gets updated, nudged just a little bit to make it more likely to give those high-scoring answers in the future. Repeat that millions of times, and you get a much more aligned and helpful AI.
Okay, so imagine you have one of these giant, super expensive models, but you want to teach it a super specific skill, like writing legal contracts. Retraining that whole massive model would cost a fortune. That's where LoRA comes in. It's an incredibly clever and efficient way to specialize the model without breaking the bank.
And here's why it's such a big deal. Full fine-tuning means you have to change every single parameter in the model. It's crazy expensive, and you end up with a whole new giant model file. With LoRA, you freeze the original model. You don't touch it. Instead, you just add this tiny little adapter layer on top, and that's the only thing you train. It's way cheaper, way faster, and it means you can have dozens of different specialists, all based on one original model. All right, time for our final section. And honestly, this is where things get really wild. We're moving from AI that understands the world to AI that can create brand new things out of thin air. We're talking about the creative spark, how AI generates new realities like images, music, and video. First up, the Variational Autoencoder, or VAE. Think of it like a master artist who's also a brilliant forger. It's got two parts. The encoder looks at thousands of images, let's say faces, and learns to compress each one down to its absolute essence, a tiny set of numbers that represent faceness. Then the decoder part learns to take that essence and perfectly reconstruct the original face. The magic happens when you give the decoder a new set of numbers from that essence space, and it generates a brand new, totally original face that has never existed.
And this is the technology behind the explosion in AI art. The engine inside tools like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. These are diffusion models, and the way they work is just poetic. It's like a sculptor. The AI starts with a screen full of pure, random static, just noise. Then, guided by your prompt, it slowly and carefully chips away at that noise, step by step, until a stunning, coherent image emerges from the chaos.
So how does it learn to do that? It's a two-part process. During training, it's given one simple task over and over. Take a slightly noisy image and learn how to predict and remove that noise. It gets incredibly good at just that one thing. Then, when it's time to create, a process called inference, you just give it a canvas of pure noise and say, go. And it repeatedly applies that denoising skill, step after step, until a crystal clear image is revealed.
So there you have it. Tokenization, RAG, RLHF, diffusion. These aren't just random buzzwords. They are the actual wrenches, screwdrivers, and power tools in the AI toolkit. These are the foundational pieces that are being combined in all sorts of incredible ways to build the AI you're using right now.
Now that you understand these building blocks, you're in a much better position to see not just how AI works today, but to really think about where this is all headed. The toolkit is on the table. The real question is, what are we all going to build with it next? Thanks for watching.